General. International rules for preventing collision at sea. Rule 1. Application. These are rules shall apply to all vessels upon the high seas and in all waters connected therewith navigable by sea-going vessels. Nothing in these rules shall interfere with the operation of any special rules made by an appropriate authority for roadsteads, harbors, river, lakes, or inland waterways connected with the high seas and navigable by sea-going vessels. Such special rules shall conform as closely as possible to the rules.
Rule 1. Application C. Nothing in these rules shall interfere with the operation of any special rules made by the government of any state with respect to additional station or signal lights, shapes, or whistle signals for ships of war and vessels proceeding under convoy, or with respect to additional station or signal lights or shapes for fishing vessels engaged in fishing as a fleet. These additional station or signal lights, shapes, or whistles shall so far as possible be such that they cannot be mistaken for any light, shape, or signal authorized elsewhere under these rules. The rule refers to additional lights and signals for fishing vessels, warships, etc., authorized by the government of any state and does not apply to the signals for vessels fishing in close proximity listed in Annex 2, which have received international agreement. Rule 1 Application D. Traffic separation scheme may be adopted by the organization for the purpose of these rules. This section of the rule gives IMO, the organization, the authority to adopt traffic separation schemes to which the provisions of Rule 10 will apply. A government may, in urgent cases, implement a new scheme or an amendment to an adopted scheme before receiving IMO approval. The particulars of traffic separation scheme are laid down in the IMO publication. Ships routing amendments are listed to enable the publication to be kept up to date, and information about new schemes or amendments to existing schemes are also promulgated through notices to Marines. Rule 1. Application E. Whenever the government concerned shall have determined that a vessel of any special construction or purpose cannot comply with the provisions of any of these rules with respect to the number, position, range of arc of visibility of lights or shapes, as well as to the disposition and characteristics of sun signaling appliances, such vessels shall comply with such other provisions in regard to the number, position, range, or arc of visibility of lights or shapes, as well as to the disposition and characteristics of sound signaling appliances, as their government shall have determined to be the closest possible compliance with these rules in respect of that vessel.
Rule number 2. Responsibility of international rules for preventing collision at sea. Part A says, nothing in this rule shall exonerate any vessel, or the owner, master, or the crew thereof, from the consequences of any neglect to comply with these rules, or of the neglect of any precaution read by the ordinary practice of seamen, or by the special circumstances of the case. Part B of Rule number 2 says, in construing and complying with these rules, due regard shall be had to all dangers of navigation and collision, to any special circumstances, including the limitations of the vessels involved, which may make a departure from these rules necessary to avoid immediate danger.
Rule 3. General definition. Vessel. Every watercraft, including non-displacement craft, WIG craft, seaplanes used or capable of being used as means of transportation on water. So basically in Rule 3, all merchant ships are defined and has an example in this rule. Types of vessel. Every description of watercraft used as means of transportation on water are called merchant vessels, pleasure craft, large and small vessels, fast or slow vessels, non-conventional vessels, includes dredges, non-displacing craft, seaplanes, dredgers, etc. So power-driven vessel. Vessel propelled by machinery. Vessel capable of using her machinery immediately. Vessel using her own machinery. So these are the example of power-driven vessel: general cargo ship, oil tanker, bulk carrier, gas tanker, LNG tanker, chemical tanker, handymax bulker, ore carrier, container ship, fruit ship, car carrier, heavy lift carrier, large motor yacht, small motor yacht, navy ships, hovercraft, jet foil, sailing vessel. So sailing vessel propelled by sails. If fitted with an engine, engine may not be running at all, even with propeller not engaged. So these are example sailing vessels: small sailing yacht, large sailing yacht. Another is vessel engaged in fishing. When fishing with apparatus restricting her maneuverability. Vessel not engaged in fishing. Fishing with trolling lines or other apparatus not affecting the maneuverability. Pole and line fishing vessels. Yacht fishing with short lines. Vessel engaged in fishing at sea. The main fishing vessels encountered are side trawlers, beam trawlers, stern trawlers, drift net fishers, seine net fishers, long line fishers. So these are the examples of vessel engaged in fishing: side trawler, stern trawler, factory trawler, beam trawler, drift net fishing, pelagic long line. Vessel not engaged in fishing, so they use trolling. Another is seaplane. So this is an example of seaplane. Vessel not under command. Through exceptional circumstance, unable to maneuver as required by the rules, unable to keep out of the way. Vessel entirely not under command. So these are the possible cause: engine breakdown, rudder breakdown, sailing vessel that has become. So this pictures depicts the vessels not under command. So vessel on fire, vessel partially not under command, difficulty in keeping the course due to adverse weather, forced to have to secure cargo which has begun to move. So this picture depicts NUC in heavy weather. Vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver. Vessel which from the nature of her work is restricted in her ability to maneuver as required by the rules and is unable to keep out of the way. Examples are buoying or beacon ships, lighthouse tenders, cable ships, dredgers, survey vessels, salvage vessels, supply vessels, aircraft carriers in operation, mine clearance ships, towing vessels unable to deviate from her course. So these are the examples: beacon ship, lighthouse tender, cable layer, pipe laying vessel, research vessel, dredging. So there are two types: suction dredger, trailing suction hopper dredger. Another is cutter suction dredger, reclamation dredger, bucket dredger. Vessel restricted in our ability to maneuver. Split hopper dredger. Backhoe dredger. Cutter suction dredger. Split barge. Grab dredger. Side zone dumping vessel. Water injection vessel. Lifting vessel. Full pipe vessel. Underwater operations. Vessel engaged in replenishment or supplying the provision. Vessel constrained by her drought. Power-driven vessel, drought in relation to water depth, restricts her maneuverability, not applicable to sailing vessels. So this is an example. If drought vessels have a little room to maneuver in a narrow channels. Under clearance can be as little as 1 meter. Vessel underway. So, vessel underway means not at anchor, not made fast to shore, not aground. Vessel at anchor is not underway. It's not underway. Underway and making way through the water. Moving with regard to the water, vessel can be stopped with regard to the bottom when there is current. Not making way through the water. Stop with regard to the water. Vessel can move with regard to the bottom when there is current. Conclusion. A vessel can be not underway, underway and making way through the water, underway and not making way through the water. Examples: length and breadth of the vessel. So could be lower length overall and beam or breadth. Vessel in sight of one another. And one can be observed visually from the other. It doesn't apply to vessels observing one another on the radar. Restricted visibility. Visibility restricted by fog, mist, falling snow, heavy rainstorm, sandstorm, or any other similar cause. So these are fog, visibility restricted, snowstorm, rainstorm, sandstorm. Winging ground craft. Multimodal craft flying in close proximity to the surface, utilizing surface effect action. So this is an example of WIG craft. Thank you.